Sara Saffari, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Talk to me about the muscle mummy movement. I'm hearing about it on the internet that guys, there's like a move away from thin spo to fit spo to now muscle mummy, which is the step up. And even though you only just heard about the word today, it feels like you're part of that movement.
Yeah, people have been commenting, like guys comment on my posts like muscle mommy sometimes, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. But today was the first time that I've heard like women addressing themselves as muscle mommy or each other as muscle mommy.
Gymshark did a muscle mommy t-shirt.
Yes, and I was at the event, and I like, even, you know, girls talking on the intercom or whatever, they'd be like, okay, muscle mommies, like, let's keep pushing. And I was like, I've never heard this. Like, I haven't heard like women addressing women as muscle mommies. I thought it was more of like a kind of joking, flirty type thing that guys comment on girls' posts on Instagram.
Taken the word and made it your own. So you're 23?
22.
22. You probably growing up would have seen body types change from, I guess, when you were maybe 11, 12, 13 through to now.
For sure.
Talk to me about like that ideal female shape and kind of the lessons that you took about what an attractive woman is physically over time.
For me, growing up, at first I was really skinny, and then through high school, like I would always fluctuate in weight. Like I'd go anywhere from 130 pounds to 100 pounds, which is a pretty big difference when you already weigh like kind of low. But I would always be told by my mom, like, confidence is what makes you like most attractive. Like, it's not what you look like, it's who you are and how you carry yourself. Sorry. And so that's what, you know, I was taught growing up. But for me personally, if I ever saw a girl with abs, I loved it. I loved the look of it. I thought it was like so, I don't know, attractive to me. Like, that's what I was aiming for. That's what I wanted. But I never knew how to get there. Like, I didn't know, like, oh, how does a girl get abs? Like, I thought it was just all genetics. But no, diet comes into play. Working out comes into play. So.
And now there's this move. You remember when thigh gaps were a thing? When everybody wanted a thigh gap?
Bro, yes. I remember being at lunch in high school, and like girls would look at each other and be like, oh, you have it. Oh, you don't. The most toxic thing ever. And I remember like I didn't have one at the time, or like I don't think I ever had one, but I would go home and I'd like beat myself up about it because like girls would be pointing out how it's like good to have a thigh gap.
And interesting, like the internet's kind of become very obsessed physically with the way that people appear, like both guys and girls.
Yeah.
You know, guys are getting leg lengthening surgery. Have you seen this?
I haven't heard of that.
They get I'm pretty sure it's their shins extended. Yeah, they break the shin, stretch it a bit, the bone regrows, they break it again and keep on going. And guys can add inches to their height. And my point being that people are like optimizing for really weird, kind of, not arbitrary, but they're optimizing for like weird stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that nobody ever talks about is that sort of hotness or sex appeal that people have just from the way that they hold themselves.
Yeah.
And from the way that they act.
I think that has a huge amount of appeal to people, even if you don't want to admit it. I think if someone is confident, it can make them from a 6 to an 8, depending how they carry themselves. I think for sure it can.
And obviously, online dating and spending tons of time on Instagram negates a lot of that. Like, you don't get to see that. Even in a pose, somebody can pose themselves in a sexy way.
Oh, 1,000%.
And not have the confidence to be able to pull it off face to face, and vice versa.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have managed to gain quite a bit of notoriety in a very short space of time. I think the number one job or occupation that young kids in America say that they want when they grow up is influencer or YouTuber. And in China, it's astronaut or like some other cool, like something that's way less lame.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this rapid gain in status. 'Cause for guys, there's an obvious advantage, at least on the surface.
Yeah, for
More
sure.
people know me, I have status, girls will like me. But for a girl to gain millions of followers in basically no time at all, I don't know, that seems interesting to me, that there's probably more advantages that people wouldn't see and then some disadvantages we wouldn't see as well. So what's that been like?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm not going to lie. I think the money has been a great part of it. But for me, I'm not someone who spends my money on materialistic things. Like, I was just telling you how I have fake shoes on. Like they were $100.
You've blown it to the internet.
Yeah, no, they know. I think if they know, they've watched my content, they know that I don't like splurge. You know, I save all the money I make. Like, sure, maybe when I go to In-N-Out, I can eat a little bit better. Like, I can order the fries or order the 4x4 instead of just like the single burger. But for me, like the money's nice because now I know I have the power to, you know, if my mom needs a new car, I can be the one that does that for her. Or like, you know, we're looking to like moving out, maybe getting a new house. I know that I can pitch in and carry my weight financially and something like that. So I think just like not necessarily physically having the money, but having the peace of mind of knowing that, you know, I can support myself or my family.
And what's the increase in attention being like? You just came from this big Gymshark event that we were both at.
Yeah.
And you got swamped by men. You say that 90% of your audience is men.
Yeah, it's all
and you're
guys.
5'3"?
Hey, 5'4".
Give me a break.
I'm kidding.
You're a small girl that's being surrounded by a shit ton of men.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about this. Like, this is in some regards like a nightmare scenario that girls literally would hate, and then in other regards, this is the price of doing business for you.
Yeah. For me, like today, I realized how many people came up and was like, "Sara, like you're really funny. I love your content." And I think that's the best compliment for me to get is being like, "Oh, you're funny," or you know, it's more than just like, oh, it's just like another hot girl on Instagram posting bikini pictures. Like if they find some kind of value from my content, even if it's just humor, like sure, I'm not giving anything educational, but if they are laughing while watching my videos or watching me fuck with Bradley or, you know, whatever it is, like that makes me happy. Because I know like after I watch like a Danny Duncan video or a Gideon video, like I feel good, you know, like I was laughing through the 10-minute video. So
what about the negative sides of the attention? Have you had many?
I've had some like maybe the best not to say them, to not dress like very much attention to those things, but I've had some weird or bad experiences with people. But for the most part, it's all been good. I feel like regardless, whatever I involve myself with, even if I was, you know, using my degree and working a 9-to-5 job, it wouldn't all be good. There would still be some bad days. There would be, you know, arguments with people I work with. There would be downfalls in other aspects of, you know, working at an office from 8 to 5. So
I'm definitely seeing a move online of like one of the dudes from the UK made a video called the Gym Bro Culture 2.0, and he was talking about the move from the more like Ziz era exclusive body side stuff to a more holistic, integrated, it's life advice, it's an older brother rather than a party friend type thing. I would be interested. I definitely think if you look at the fitness world for girls, it's still pretty trapped in it's all about your condition, your tan, the size of the bikini. And I wonder, I don't know, like if you have a personality as a girl who's also into fitness, whether some people, and this is the same for guys too, whether they almost feel like if I let the weirder side out of me, that this is going to, I don't have many role models that do that. Or if I let the more intellectually curious side out of me, that this isn't what people want on the internet because all they want, I need to be leaner, I need to be bigger, I can't show any personality. And it seems like, it feels to me a little bit like the tide's shifting with that.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think it is shifting. I think that, you know, there's people on social media. I know there's one guy that works out at Zoo Culture and he does not have the traditional body type, like whatsoever, but he is the funniest person online. He is super caring. Like he'll always ask me like, hey, I want to do this bit, like would this be okay with you? Like I want to be respectful of you, would this be okay with you? Like it's just, he crosses like all, you know, he checks all the boxes to make sure he does a good job, and he's so funny online. His name's Felipe, but he is so funny. But in no ways would you look at him and think, oh, that's your typical like influencer bodybuilder.
Talk to me about this new trend of girls TikToking guys looking over while they're doing videos. You spend a lot of time in the gym. Yes. You're in the age bracket. You're big on TikTok. You're big on social media platforms. Give me your lay of the land. What do you think about this trend?
I think sometimes guys looking at girls, depending on, you know, the age gap, I think the age gap does matter. I think, if you're a 22-year-old girl and there's a 25-year-old guy, like just, glancing over here and there, like without like constantly staring, it might be his way of shooting his shot or whatever. On the other hand, if he's 55 years old and like he's just continuously staring at you, that could be off. But then he also might be looking at you because you have a camera propped up and he's like, what is this girl doing? Like, I don't know what this is, Or he might want to try to not be in the frame.
Why do you think this is happening? Why do you think that this trend is occurring? Like, do you think that these girls actually feel this way?
Honestly, no. I think that like, sometimes maybe they catch it in the moment and they think like, oh, this is what's going to make me blow up. Because I see myself as a very like, I'm constantly aware of who's looking at me or my surroundings or whatever. Or, if I'm walking out of the pool and I see a guy look a little bit too much, I'm like, can I help you? I'm constantly aware of that, but never have I been around other girls and I see them being that aware of things. Not usually. I feel like girls aren't usually that aware of it.
And I suppose when you're videoing yourself and you watch it back and you go,
got
that's
him.
your external awareness almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here was the thing that I thought when that main huge video went out and the girl did it, and then she did the apology, and Joey Swole like found his new content arc.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there was people that spend a lot of time on the internet use other stories from the internet as a guide, a guardrail, and a guideline for how they should behave as well. Lots of girls looked at that situation. And if you'd said to me, if you'd just shown me the video in isolation, I couldn't see the comments, I couldn't see the likes, and said, what do you think's the response to this? It could have gone either way. I could have seen it as a coin toss, that the internet would have flamed the guy and said, that's too much, that's out of order, and sided on the sort of victim hypersensitive side.
Yeah.
Or they could have gone the way that they did go, which is, he looks over 3 times in 90 seconds, you're pointing a camera at him and your shorts are in your ass.
Yeah.
What did you expect? And you can't do a glute bridge. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
So what happened, the way that I saw it, and this is kind of why it's so interesting, lots of people that spend lots of time on the internet look at situations like that are kind of landmark opportunities for a common scenario to play out online. And they use the way that fallout occurs as a barometer for how they should feel if it happens in their life in future.
Yeah.
And
I see. Yeah.
Because the pushback was there, lots of girls now realize that, oh, if a guy looks over 3 times in 90 seconds while I'm doing a glute bridge, maybe that's the sort of thing that I don't need to be too concerned about. The problem is it could have gone the other way. And that now lowers the ceiling for guys to be scared that if they look over too much, whether they mean to or whether they don't, that they're going to be in trouble. But the other one is it makes an increasingly fragile generation of young girls who feel victimized and concerned if a guy does look over. Well, I saw this video on TikTok and the whole internet said that they need to, if this happens, that's unspeakable. And I've heard about the dangers of Me Too and I shouldn't walk alone at home at night. This is too much. So you're almost outsourcing your anxiety level to the internet.
Yeah.
And it's purely by fortune and, like the way that the internet responded, that didn't reset most gym girls' expectations, that's something to be scared or offended by.
Yeah. But also coming from the other, other side, I can see myself, like if a guy is squatting, I could see myself looking over, not because I'm trying to hit on him, but because I'm like, wow, like his form is so good, or wow, he's breaking 90 degrees, or his knees are being pushed out very well, or that's a lot of weight, like, oh, how many reps is he going to go for? I totally do that in a non sexual way whatsoever.
How do you hit on guys at the gym? Have you ever had to do it?
No. I don't.
It's just all inbound for you in zoo culture?
No, I'm not saying it's all inbound, but I'm saying that I don't think the gym is necessarily where I'd want to be approached, so I don't think I'd want to approach someone in the gym.
Why wouldn't you want to be approached in the gym? You like
the
gym?
It is the only 2 hours out of the 24 hours that I get to enjoy.
Why? What else are you doing for 22 hours?
Laying in bed, doing homework, eating.
True.
Sleeping. It's my 2 hours of Friday nights, people go out with their homies, have a good time. That's every day for me from the hours of 11 to 1 at the gym.
What about when you finish your master's? What are you going to do then?
Maybe I'll get a PhD. I'm kidding.
Well, talk to me about this. Okay, so how much harder has dating been for you with all of this attention? You can't go, it's going to be like if you go for dinner with somebody, if you go out on a date with somebody, the difficulties increased exponentially, and now it's all over Snapchat.
Yeah. It has made things harder for sure. Especially if like, the person you're seeing or you're with doesn't do what you're doing. So they don't understand that sometimes, like, for me, like, I don't drink, but going to an event, sometimes I have to go because I think like, oh, what about the business connections I could make from going to that event, or the people I could meet or whatever, not in a relationship intimate way, but in a business relationship type way. And I feel like sometimes it's hard for, people that aren't doing this to be like, well, no, you don't have to go to that, or you don't have to go to Vegas for this, or you don't have to go to Miami for that. And I'm like, well, no, I don't have to, but I feel like there would be connections there if I did go.
Also, I suppose if someone isn't in the industry, they get injected into this level of surveillance
Yeah.
and scrutiny that you have that they didn't sign up for.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, why don't we go see Oppenheimer or whatever? And you go, oh, by the way, people might like come up and ask you to take a photo of them with me.
Yeah.
In other news, this episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. We sleep 1/3 of our lives. Do not spend 33% of your life in anything other than unbeatably comfortable sheets. Getting a good night's sleep is the ultimate game changer, and the sheets that you have are a massive determinant of just how comfortable you feel. Cozy Earth has the most premium bedding and loungewear that I've ever found. They're made from super soft viscose from highly sustainable bamboo, temperature regulating so you will sleep comfortably all year round, and an enhanced weave quality that won't pill. So it's higher quality, will last longer, and you will have a more comfortable night's sleep and wake up feeling more rested and revitalized. Plus, there is a 10-year warranty on all of their products. That's how confident they are that they're going to last. But don't just take my word for it. Oprah has chosen Cozy Earth as one of her favorite things for 5 years in a row now. You can get an exclusive 35% discount site-wide on everything by going to cozyearth.com/modernwisdom and using the code modernwisdom35 at checkout. cozyearth.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. Yeah, that's interesting. Talk to me about guys your age. There's like this fucking moral panic on the internet about Gen Z men, especially. They're pathologically fapping their way through a Monster Energy fueled video game and porn binge. Like, what are Gen Z guys like? The ones that you either grew up with or sometimes try and speak to with regards to dating or anything. How do you categorize them? How do you classify them?
I feel like there's a lot of growing to do from the age of 22 to like 27 for men. And I think, 22-year-old men just aren't there yet necessarily. And I think that I'm pretty mature for my age. And I think the guys that I've countered for the most part just aren't there yet. They're just immature, maybe caught up with kind of a younger mindset.
Yeah. So what are they doing? Like, what are they prioritizing? What are they concerned about?
I think they prioritize friends a good amount, which isn't a bad thing. I'm just saying friends a lot, partying, going out, drinking.
I wonder how much of that's an LA thing.
I think a good amount of it might be an LA thing. I think if you go like to a rural town in Kansas, maybe it's not as much.
Yeah. Have you heard of slow life strategy? Do you know about this?
Slow life strategy?
Yeah. So it seems at the moment, based on the data, that Gen Z, both guys and girls, a little bit younger than you would probably be at the very front of this wave, getting their driver's license later, moving out of home later, getting a job later, not partying as much, not drinking as much, not taking drugs. So they've got generalized risk aversion. They're not doing the risky things that previous generations of that age would, but they're also not even really doing the adult things. Like the number of 16 to 20-year-olds who don't have a driver's license is the highest ever. Like,
really? You think COVID had a pushback in that?
Maybe it could be that people just
became more isolated, stopped.
If that's your formative years, if you're 15 and COVID hits and you're 18 and COVID finishes, you've just grown up. All you can remember, basically, being the person that you are, is this hermit at home playing Fortnite or whatever.
Yeah.
But what it makes me think about is when these people do need to grow up. You mentioned young guys could do with maybe growing up a little bit more quickly.
Yeah.
If they want a chance. And it makes me wonder whether that's going to keep getting pushed further and further.
Hopefully not. But
I don't know. It's
I think for me, one of the biggest turn-ons or pluses a guy can have is being motivated or like dedicated to something, even if that's plumbing, you know, just something that like every day you want to do and work towards to being better at, you know, whether that's the gym or a job like plumbing or being a dentist or being an astronaut, like whatever, you know, just something to work towards rather than just kind of laying back and like kicking your feet up and just enjoying day by day. I think it's like that's great and everything, but I think you have to have something that every day you're trying to improve.
Drive and motivation and ambition, I think, are very sexy, and competence as well.
Yeah.
Like if you can manage to hit the sweet spot with a partner of someone who you are attracted to, but you admire as well, like you've got a partner that's your role model.
Yeah.
Like that's an unbelievably potent cocktail, I think, for attraction. It's so strange to think about what that is for girls, because, you know, guys can just go out and get their drive and do the things that typically are sort of masculine traits. Be very interested in what the equivalent is for a girl. You know, like what is it that a guy would find in feminine traits that they want to absorb into themselves? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. One time I was on Brad's pod and I was like, oh, like I don't cook or clean. And then everyone was like, I still don't live those comments down. I'm like, okay, I've been practicing now, but I will never live those comments down. Like, oh, like why would you ever want her? She can't cook or clean.
Jesus Christ. Well, just get a maid. If you're that bothered, like you don't need a wife, you need a maid.
Yeah. I was like, bro, I'm not going to, I mean, I don't think I could ever see myself doing someone else's laundry. Maybe my mother's, but my partner's, never.
Well, you just need to earn a bit more money and then you can pay the maid to do it.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I'll pay someone to do it. I wasn't opposed to a house chef.
I think part of that is that they associate a lack of willingness to do traditional household things with a non-traditional relationship that is just not going to be as enjoyable. It's a less feminine sort of woman.
Yeah.
And the polarity between masculinity and femininity. What the subtext is, I'm not doing the washing, you are.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, and guys are like, whoa,
like,
whoa.
Oh, fuck
yeah,
this
exactly.
bitch.
If you're not doing it, I'm definitely not doing it.
Yeah, right.
So I do understand. And I do think, you know, there's lots of talk about masculinity and stuff like that. What about the other side of the fence? Are you seeing challenges that young girls have with femininity at the moment, of like finding their role within the world, whether they should be a trad wife or a sex positive, sleep around girl, party girl, whether they should be a hermit?
I don't know. I think it's hard, especially with social media. And like most of the girls you see on social media are like, you know, there's two sides of it, of course, but there's a lot of like sex symbols you see on social media, or even if it's not like sex symbols, you see like these hot, beautiful girls that may or may not have had work done, but in swimsuits or whatever. And for a lot of people, it's hard to, like, you would never get there, but like that's who you see on a daily basis on your phone. So that's what you want, or that's what you want to strive towards. But yeah, so I think it's hard to say what kind of extent to femininity girls look for, but I think social media hasn't made it easier.
It's confusing.
It's confusing for sure.
And look at some of the role models that were held up as, okay, so this is really, really where, you know, this is someone that's charging forward and really getting it right. Lizzo, fighting for girls all over the place.
Yeah.
And then the bottom falls out and it turns out that she's making her dancers eat bananas out of strippers' vaginas.
Yeah.
Weight shaming all of the people as this champion for body positivity. And Ellen DeGeneres as well. Turns out that she's a total prick to work with. Yeah.
It's like, and it's the people that you would think that were like the most understanding that turned out to not be.
I don't know whether it's people that you would think. I think it's people that
portrayed themselves. Yeah, that
precisely correct.
Yeah, people that portrayed themselves to be like the most understanding or accepting of everyone. That turned out to be the shittiest.
It's like the senator that's pushing the hardcore anti-gay legislation that goes home and secretly watches gay porn on a VPN.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's fascinating. And there's a part of that, you know, because people's actions are way less visible than their words online. Like the thing that you tweet is way more important than the thing that you did, because no one sees the thing that you did, but they see the thing that you tweeted.
Yep.
So when you look at the people that are the most forthcoming about being virtuous or morally grandstanding or I'm holier than thou, when you see that to me a lot of the time signals there's probably something going on there, unless I can really, really prove it. And I didn't see it with Lizzo. Not that I'm not like a Lizzo scholar, but
You're a Lizzo fan.
yeah, I didn't look at her and see, yeah, this is someone who's really working hard to try and find the next like frontier for female body empowerment or something like that. It seemed like someone doing a grift. It seemed like someone that had managed to
publicity stunt.
That had managed to capture a particular narrative and was just leaning into it.
Yeah.
Brad versus Logan. Who wins?
Yo, Brad's gonna flame me if I don't say Brad's gonna win. In a street fight?
No, in the ring.
In the boxing. Okay, see, you made it harder.
That's the fight that they're talking about, no?
No, Brad was talking about street fight. Like, yo, I'm 260, pull up outside the gym, I'll rock your shit.
Okay. Who wins in the street fight?
Brad. In the ring, Logan.
Managed to pull that fence out of your ass somehow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't kick me off raw gear, Bradley. I'm kidding. But Brad is like obscenely strong too. He's quick.
He's stronger than Chris Bumstead, right? They had Sebum on the podcast and Brad was like, yo, don't compare our numbers because it's not fair. I was like, hang on, we're talking about a world champion. I trained with Chris. Chris is he's one of those guys that's got big hands. Like, dude, your hands are even muscular.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is strong, but I don't know. I mean, Brad better get on that cardio game if he wants to try and do 5 or 8 rounds.
He's strong and he's also like weirdly athletic. Like he can do like weirdly high box jumps or like I don't know. Do
you think he'd do it? Do you think he would actually go for a boxing fight? Yeah, with Logan?
With Logan, probably. Because now Logan has called him out. Brad would look like a wimp if he didn't. But Logan hasn't said that he'll do it personally. He said he had found someone for Brad to fight. Right?
I don't know. I didn't dig into the specifics of it, but I know that they'd had beef.
Yeah.
And they had like Twitter beef, which feels old school for people that are kind of Instagram and YouTube stars.
It seems so high school.
A little bit. But I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think it would be an insanely like good PR for both of them. They both bring clout to the table. Like they're both OGs.
Yeah, everybody loves them equally. Like different camps love them equally as well, which is interesting. Sure. You went to the Jake Paul fight the other week. What do you make of this world of where Bryce just won a bare knuckle fight?
That was crazy.
Was the first thing that the first situation I've ever seen Bryce get into. I didn't even know he was doing bare knuckle, and then he goes up against a guy who's been doing a good bit and wins.
Yeah,
he wins. I think he technically won due to an injury, but he wins.
Yeah, he won. But he called it too. Bryce was like, "I'm going to win in round 2," and he won in round 2.
Fair play. Would you do it? You want to step in the ring?
Bare knuckles?
No, just boxing.
I would do boxing. I'd fight someone.
Who do you want to fight? Who do you hate?
Do
you have any enemies?
There's no one that I hate per se. There's been people I think that have hated me.
Who's your biggest beef been with?
I haven't personally had beef.
Who's beefed with you the most?
Who's beefed with me?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can. I don't know. I don't want to bring attention to her.
Go.
She doesn't deserve it.
All right, you can just punch her in the face.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I would cut down to her weight and I'd beat the shit out of her. No, I'm kidding. But I think that I think it'd be dope to do like an influencer boxing type thing. Like people who haven't fought before getting in the ring, same weight class, you know, both had 3 months, 6 months training leading up to the fight and then fighting each other.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. Doesn't have to be bare knuckles, like a little boxing. And
it's so funny how the world of combat sports now has really been reshaped by it.
Right?
You've got Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fighting each other, a UFC legend up against the greatest living heavyweight fighter, potentially the greatest ever. And I don't think that would have happened had KSI Logan Paul not happened. And had Mayweather McGregor not happened. And if you track it all the way back, it was 2 British guys forever ago, like 7 or 8 years ago or something that kicked it all off. And now you've got, who's Logan's next fight? Dylan Dennis.
Yeah.
And then KSI's fighting some guy I don't know. He's like big time, but I don't know him.
Okay.
Point being, before it was we can't believe that these influencers are coming in and ruining the sweet science of boxing.
Yeah.
And now downstream, the purest boxing people are following the model.
Fighting the influencers.
Precisely correct.
Right.
So funny.
Because I think that at the end, it's a win-win for everyone. Because more, the influencers bring a different crowd, the younger crowd, they bring a little bit more PR to it, whatever it might be. I think they bring a different audience to it that, helps them both, sells tickets, gets pay-per-view watches.
It's entertainment as well.
Yeah, it's entertainment.
And when people say this is getting like WWE and they're talking about baseball or they're talking about NFL or whatever, or NBA. I realized this the other week. What they mean is, or what happened was, WWE essentially took the sport element out of sport, and all that you had to do was reverse engineer the best way to create the rivalry, and then you don't need to worry about the outcome of the contest because we already know what's going to happen because we can write that.
Right.
So when people say this is becoming like WWE, what they mean is they found the model of how to create a rivalry, and this rivalry is starting to look like that. So really all it is these people in NBA or whatever zeroing in on a really, really heated rivalry that compels people. I don't think it's fair necessarily to say this is becoming like WWE.
Yeah.
They split tested for, decades and decades. The best, we're going to have the heel. We're going to have like the redneck guy. We're going to have the clean cut heartthrob. We're going to have the renegade artist. We're going to have the Mexican dude that's got the hat, the face mask on. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you just have this very effective way at garnering attention in a sport. And you don't need to worry about the sport. And now we're seeing it get across. And you've seen Drive to Survive, which was the Formula One thing, Full Swing, which was for golf, Breakpoint, that was for tennis, Quarterback, now that's all about NFL. And people are interested in what's going on behind the scenes, which is exactly why you have to post 140 Snapchat photos again every single day.
People care about more than just like an Instagram picture here or there.
They care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Levels. One of the single biggest predictors of how long you live and how good you'll feel while living is your metabolic health. The single best way to work out how your daily decisions are impacting your longevity and your vitality is by tracking your glucose. This is why I wear a continuous glucose monitor from Levels. It allows me to understand in real time how the foods that I'm eating are impacting my health and the way that I feel. The Levels app interprets your glucose data and gives you a score after each meal so that you can see how different meals are impacting you, and it will give you personalized diet recommendations that are right for your body. Glucose is a huge determinant of not only your vitality and your longevity, but of the way that you feel day to day. Using Levels means that you take the guesswork out of this. It can help you to nudge your diet towards something which is going to be better for you right now and in the long term as well. After using Levels, I realized that if I have a large carb meal and I do not go for a walk afterwards, my blood glucose goes through the roof and I don't feel so good. Head to levels.link/modernwisdom to take advantage of an exclusive offer, plus get that 90-day money-back guarantee. That's levels.link/modernwisdom. I've asked this question to a bunch of different people. If you only had 10 exercises for the rest of your life to hold on to as much muscle or build as much muscle as you could, which ones would you choose and why?
10 exercises?
10 exercises. It can be anything you want, but you've only got 10.
Okay, let's start off. Leg press.
Okay.
For, you can do different variations in it. You can hit like different parts depending on how you put your legs. RDLs.
Barbell, dumbbells, single leg.
Barbell. RDLs.
Barbell RDLs is hardcore. Okay, cool. Yep.
Okay. Military press. With the barbell, military press,
Seated?
shoulder press. No, standing. So you can brace your core. I mean, you only get 10 exercises here.
Okay, right. Yeah. So you've made an ab exercise out of a shoulder exercise.
Right.
Good. Okay. Yep.
Incline dumbbells.
Every single person has said incline dumbbell press.
Yeah.
Chest press?
Yeah.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Yep.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Yep. That's full.
Right. Gosh. Okay, is it decline or incline? I always confuse myself. When you lean back a little bit and you do the curls.
I think that's technically incline, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yes, because I always mess it.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Those curls with dumbbells.
Supinated? So like from neutral to supinated, or do you keep it? Because some people keep it locked out like that. And
I keep it locked out like that.
Yep. Yeah, so it's almost like I think it's called like a Y curl.
Yeah.
Where you're here.
Yes.
Those suck so hard and you're so weak on those. You know, at the bottom of the movement and it's
You flex your tricep at the bottom.
5 kilos.
Yeah.
And you go, ugh,
Yep.
and then it
Love
starts
them.
moving. Okay, that's
Love them.
5. So we've got
5.
leg press, RDLs with a barbell, military press standing, incline
Dumbbells.
chest press
Yeah.
with dumbbells. That last one you just
the Y curls.
whatever that is. Okay,
Right,
so halfway
okay.
through.
Halfway through.
Smoked legs are okay,
Oh.
chest's okay, shoulders are okay, biceps, right?
Weighted pull-ups for back.
Okay.
That's, I think, maybe one of the only back exercises I need.
Overhand, underhand, neutral.
I'm not a pussy. Come on. Overhand.
Okay. Chris Bumstead said neutral.
Oh, fuck. I mean, neutral.
Right. That's 6.
Okay. Gosh, this is hard. Hammer curls to hit the other head of the
Okay.
bicep.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Standing hammer curls.
It's a lot of biceps now with the pull-ups, with the 2 sets of curls. Okay.
Yeah, we're good with biceps now.
Yeah. No more biceps.
I think I'm gonna have to do lateral raises for shoulders.
Yep.
Oh my god, I didn't hit any triceps. Do I have one more exercise?
You've got 2 left, I think.
2 left.
Yeah.
Skull crushers.
Yeah. Tell you what. I forgot that I did 5 years ago and then rediscovered it the other day. Lying skull crushers. So going to the floor and taking it from the floor as opposed to going from a bench, because you can go from a dead stop, and it means that if you need to fail, you can always you're never scared of literally smashing yourself in the face or falling off the back of the bench.
Yeah.
And it feels really comfy. You know, sometimes if you bring your feet up on a bench and you feel like
you feel wobbly a little bit.
Fall off. Yeah. Okay. Skull crushers. So you got 1 left from all of that.
And then I think I'm gonna have to do hanging leg raises
for abs.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the most popular abs exercise as well.
Yeah.
Ryan Terry, Chris Bumstead, both of them. It's one of those weird things. Everyone's kind of got a confusion around training abs, and all the people that have got good midsections.
Yeah, everyone always asks me, what's your like ab workout? And I'm like, maybe once a week I'll either hit decline sit-ups, you know, with like a weight with 10 pounds, or I'll do hanging leg raises. But most of it is just like even bracing my core in any other workout. I do vacuums or just what you eat.
Well, I think you came into training pretty underfed.
Yes,
right?
for
you were
sure.
Crazy. Talk through that, like where you were at body-wise and then sort of your progression of training in the gym.
Yeah, so I was going through a hard time. I was like the lowest I'd ever weighed. I was 100 pounds. And I was very insecure with myself. I would always wear baggy clothes because I hated how like I felt like I just looked sick. Like that's how skinny I was. I remember my meals would like a McDonald's little burger like off the dollar menu and a large Coke would be my meal for the day.
And that's all you'd eat?
That's all I would eat. I remember at 7 p.m. usually I'd get up and go get that and then drive around the town for an hour and go back home. Like my mental health just was so poop. It was crappy. And I think that went on for about 6 months. And then it was just like a switch. I was tired of spending literally every hour in bed and like just moping around, low energy, low confidence. And then I was like, you know what? Like I have nothing better to do. Might as well hit the gym.
Was there a moment? Was it just a progression over time of becoming increasingly fed up with that?
I don't think there was a moment per se, but I think I just got tired of feeling so shitty. Like I was tired of feeling tired and like I was just so unhappy with myself.
How old were you?
I was 20. Yeah, about 2 years ago, 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then I literally remember like what I was wearing that day, and I remember the drive to the gym to sign up for the gym membership. I remember I wore glasses. I didn't think I was like, I'll get the membership today and I'll start tomorrow or whatever. I went in, I got the membership, and then I started that same day. I wore my glasses to work out, whatever. It was weird, but I remember it. And then I worked out, and then I went home and I was like, well, I had seen TikToks, like right after you work out, you have to eat something like high protein. Like I'm going to eat like half a piece of salmon. And I was like, anything is better than like a McDonald's burger at this point. So I remember I was just like, I would learn a little bit on TikTok. I'd learn a little bit from my brother. I'd learn like people that just work out. I would talk to them, try to pick their brain about like how I can improve like everything all at once, like my nutrition, my workouts, everything. So it was just like a mix of TikTok, talking to people that helped me kind of get to where I am. And within like maybe 6-7 weeks of working out, I think I really had it dialed. So I picked it up very fast, relatively. You know, trained with intensity from the beginning. Would push myself. I remember it was when I started, like, you'd still have to wear face masks at the gym. I remember sometimes I would have like.
Oh, shit, yeah. So this was during COVID.
Yeah, it was 2020 when I started. It was May of 2020.
In the midst of it.
Yeah. Wait, May of 2020 or 2021?
Might be 2021.
I think it was 2021.
Still in the midst of it.
Yeah. It was 2021, yes.
Yeah. What was most difficult, or what advice would you give to girls that are unhappy with their body, or guys that are unhappy with their bodies? Like, you know, there's a lot of challenges in overcoming. There's a lot of, even if you did get some advice from TikTok,
yeah,
most of it is horse shit.
Regardless of who you are, I think you need to implement some type of physical activity for an hour and a half a day. You know, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the level of intensity. But whoever you are, however old you are, even if that means going outside and walking, you know, for me, it's like the gym is something that it's not a chore. It's gotten to the point that it's the 2 hours of the day that I enjoy. Like I was telling you earlier, like I look forward to like going to the gym. Regardless of your age, you need to work out, do some kind of physical activity, train with intensity, whatever.
Do you train on your own?
Yeah.
Because obviously in a lot of the content that you put online,
Brad,
guys will be around, or there's a videographer, right?
Yes, right. I prefer training on my own. There was a point when I first started, I would be like, there's no way in hell I'm going to the gym by myself. Like, this is peak embarrassment. I need someone there, which is totally fine. Like, do that. Go with a friend, or go with a brother or sister or parent or whoever. But I'm at the point now where I like training alone. You know, it's like my alone time. I don't know. I enjoy on my own. That when I do film or whatever, it's like usually my rest day, and I'll go and I'll film at zoo a YouTube video.
Okay. Because if you filmed on a training day, you'd have to sacrifice training to get the content.
Right. Yeah. So I just go on.
If you're not training, there's no pressure.
Exactly.
Right. What are you doing outside of that?
Outside of working out? I sleep about 10 hours a night.
Is that strategic, or do you just...
Strategic. Muscle grows in your sleep.
Okay, yeah, but 10 hours is like... It's pretty intense.
Yeah, but...
I don't know how many 22-year-old million-plus influencers are saying, and I sleep 10 hours a night, and then train for 2 hours a day.
Sleep matters, guys. Sleep matters.
Okay.
8 to 10. It's not always 10, but it's usually... It's never...
See, when you join the Whoop team, I'll know. And you can't lie to me anymore.
Okay, perfect. No, it's always at least 8, never less.
Okay.
I do still go to school. I only have 8 weeks left. So I do that in my free time. I'm not going to lie to you. I am on my phone probably 8 to 10 hours a day.
What are you doing?
I'm mindlessly scrolling. And I try to trick myself thinking like, I respond to emails like...
Use it for work too.
Yeah, it's work too, but I also convince myself that if I keep scrolling, something will inspire me.
Have you got your screen time? Let me see. Do you track screen time on that? You know, in the settings?
Yeah.
I want to see.
God, this is going to be embarrassing.
I want to see the app breakdown of what's happening here.
It's actually down from last week, so let's not be too judgmental.
Daily average is 7 hours and 6 minutes. He peaked with... Sunday's a big day. Sunday's nearly 12 hours. See all activity. Okay, so messages, 13 hours. Instagram, 10 hours. Snapchat, 8 hours. TikTok, 4 hours. Safari, mail, YouTube. Messages. What are you doing on messages?
I don't know what I'm doing on messages.
Group chats?
No, I mean, maybe talking to fucking shitty business people. Not all shitty, but some shitty.
Yes, many shitty business
people. That's what I was so dumb to, like, when I first started thinking, like, anyone had my best interest at heart or, like, just wanted to genuinely help.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people try to not scam, but finesse.
Yeah, such a good word. I wonder how much of it is the way that you present as well. As like a relatively friendly, girly girl, and someone sees this opportunity to try and outwit a 21, 22-year-old who probably doesn't have really any idea what's going on. And I wonder whether the equivalent thing would happen with a dude.
It doesn't. I feel like in social media fitness space, I feel like from what I've heard and everything, maybe men get, respected a little bit more.
I think it's harder to break through and get paid because the way that you can monetize, good-looking girls, especially in the fitness space, can monetize guys and girls. Good-looking guys really only monetize guys.
Yes, but then I feel like you're right in the monetization aspect, but also in the brand partnership aspect, I think guys are treated a little bit better.
In terms of packages?
In terms of money, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think just more respected. Even personally, I haven't had an experience with the brands I work with, but I'm saying I've heard my friends like, due to their engagement or whatever, she should be getting paid more. And then I know a guy is below her on engagement, following everything, and he's getting paid more than she is. And I'm like, well, this is just, she's getting finesse.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I read this stat the other day that said by 2030, women are going to control 50% of global capital. So women are already 80% of consumer purchases.
Yeah.
I think that's skewed a lot because if mothers are having to do the shop,
yeah, of course.
That's every
skewed.
Mother is going to be the one in charge of shopping for baby stuff, and then plus they're going to get the groceries in. So it does kind of skew that number. But increasingly, I think women are going to have the spending power, which means that the way that marketing's done is going to have
Change.
It's going to have to be adapted. It's definitely going to have to be adapted. And I think we're already seeing it. I think, brands like Bud Light, Miller Lite, have tried to do something that seems more pro-female. But remember what we were saying before, like we can call it the Lizzo effect of doing something that looks, that ostensibly the window shopping is, we care. Behind the scenes, I don't think anybody really thought that Bud Light cared about Dylan Mulvaney or that Miller Lite cared about the fact that they used to do a mud wrestling ad.
Right.
I think they saw it as, the Dylan Mulvaney thing, oh, fuck it, I'll say it. A lot of people had a problem with the Dylan Mulvaney thing because it was Bud Light finally showing the woke, cooked blue pill bona fides that they'd been hiding from everybody all along. But the group of people who largely were saying that are also a group of people that will say things like, don't cancel Jordan Peterson because of one bad thing that he said.
Yeah.
So don't judge some of my favorite content creators based on one out of context small sample.
But then they're flipping it and judging a brand
that's been around for decades and does this one thing. And maybe they're right. And I'm open to them being right.
Yeah.
That Bud Light secretly did hate every straight person on the planet. They hated them for decades and they were just waiting for the opportunity. Or a small gifting to a poorly chosen influencer who's not super popular amongst a very, very large cohort of the country was given some cans with their face on them. And I think that the much less conspiratorial version of that seems to be the one that to me is most likely. And if you want to have the grace of, don't cancel people for just one thing that they said, I do think that you should consider extending that to, and now it's easy to dunk on it, right? And this is an unpopular thing to say because it's way easier to say Bud Light went woke and now they're going to go broke. And now they're doing
it's almost trendier to hop on and hate rather than be wait, maybe
be reasonable.
Maybe it was a one-time thing. Let's not cancel a whole brand, even though we've been drinking the product for decades.
Because Kid Rock shot them with an AR-15. We don't need to. And don't get me wrong. I think it was a shitty move. I'm not a fan of Dylan Mulvaney. I don't think that person is a good actor. But I also think if you want people to extend like a cancellation refund request to some of your favorite influencers and some of the cultural commentators online, that you should probably consider doing it for brands as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a reasonable position to be in. Have you been near any cancellation stuff? You can't get you just lift things.
I think the closest maybe was the whole like, oh, I'm not going to learn how to cook or clean.
Cancelled because she can't make a spaghetti meatballs.
And I can cook. I'm just saying I can't like cook anything crazy. I can make spaghetti and meatballs, you know. I can't cook as good as my mom.
You're selling yourself as a wifey now.
Yeah, I'm learning. Brad told me I need to hire my equity or like my stock. Hire my stock.
Okay.
You know, learn how to cook and clean. So then.
Right. Brad's coaching you on how to become a high value woman.
Right.
Good spaghetti meatballs. Great at laundry.
Yeah. Can sweep the floor. Blah, blah, blah. I'm learning.
That's pretty high value.
My issue isn't that I can't do it. It's that like right now I don't necessarily always have the drive to do it.
To sweep the floor and do the laundry and cook.
But I'm open. I've been learning to cook and I can clean.
Look at you trying to salvage
I'm trying to salvage
eligibility to the entire internet.
I'm like, please.
Come and date me. We'll get back to talking to Sarah in 1 minute, but first I need to tell you about Gymshark. You'll have seen me on most of the episodes I record in my house and here wearing Gymshark because, first off, it's super comfortable. The quality of it is amazing, and I just love the colors. In fact, these studio shorts are the greatest men's shorts ever created. I'm absolutely in love. I'm pretty sure I've had this pair for over a year now. They're super lightweight. They're an amazing cut. All of the colors are fantastic. Also, they've started doing graphic t-shirts. You'll have seen me wearing it on the Chris Bumstead vlog. If you need new gym kit, this is where to go. They've got 30 days of free returns, international shipping, plus you can get a 10% discount site-wide and worldwide on everything from Gymshark with no minimum order. Also, if you want to see everything that I use and recommend from Gymshark, I've got a super secret product page with all of the products that I like. Access that by going to bit.ly/sharkwisdom. That's bit.ly/sharkwisdom. And the code MW10 will get you 10% off everything at checkout. What are you hoping to be able to do next? Like, what would be, you've got this degree that you're about to finish. You can do lots of different things. It seems to me like you don't want to just start an OnlyFans or start taking like booty pictures and go down that line.
No, I'd rather just be canceled before I did any of that, or like, you know, delete it off everything rather than do that.
Is there ever a temptation to overly sexualize yourself?
No, but I can totally, for me, there's not. Genuinely, there's not. But I can see the appeal of why there is for women. Your likes have gone to like, your likes have plummeted, whatever, shadow banned, whatever you want to call it. So you're like, okay, whatever. I'll put on a swimsuit, turn around, and take a picture by the pool. You know, I could see the appeal. Bang! The algorithm's back up, bro. Like, the likes are back to normal. But like, I genuinely think for women, the second you start posting pictures of, you know, your ass, mostly, you know, or like a huge cleavage pics, whatever it is on Instagram, pictures of you in a, you know, nice covering dress will never perform as well as they did when you're posting your ass or tits.
So I did a podcast probably about 3 years ago with a female adult actress in the UK. And I was asking her about the typical career progression of girls that go into this industry. And she'd been in it for like a decade. She's like she'd won awards.
There's awards for that?
Apparently. I don't know what for. I don't know
what
for. I didn't see. I didn't watch either the awards or the content that was submitted. I think it was like a Sundance Film Festival. It must have been. Anyway, so I was asking her and she basically said that there's a hierarchy of intensity to different kinds of porn scenes. So I think it was like solo, girl on girl, guy on girl, like all the way down to like anal, DP, like it descends deep.
Pun not intended.
And I kind of feel like there's an equivalent stack intensity thing to the kind of content. And I don't think that guys can do the same thing. It's like it's a topless photo for a guy. Sometimes you look better, like actually you look better with a shirt on, mate. And you could be in good condition, but you could look cooler with a shirt on.
Yeah.
It does feel to me a little bit like, you know, as much as we've got this, women are at 35% of CEOs new CEOs in companies, January of 2023 were women. So the highest percentage ever. Women are out earning men between the ages of 21 and 29. Women are out educating men, 2 women for every 1 man completing a 4-year US college degree by 2030. Even though we have all of that, there's like still a big undercurrent of sexualization for women. And this isn't, I'm not saying like this is the patriarchy fucking plowing it on them. Very often women choose to sexualize themselves or each other.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's them largely competing with other women. Now, it may be for the eyes of men, but if you are hoping for men to not click on a photo that's got boobs or a bum in it, I think you're fighting against like the thermodynamics of like sexes.
No, 100%. And 1,000 times I've heard girls that, and I have no hate on girls that want to do an OnlyFans or have an OnlyFans. It's not like, oh, you have an OnlyFans, I'm not your friend. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not for me, and there's ways I feel about it, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to dislike you or I'm going to hate you or judge you for having one. Women say that having an OF or whatever is empowering. And I think for me, it's just hard to grasp how that can be empowering when you're chatting with men all day or having your management chat with men all day.
Vietnamese virtual assistant chat with men
surprise,
all day.
guys. If you're subscribed to an OF and you think it's her texting you.
It's her fat manager.
Yeah, it's not her.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really think it'll be interesting to reflect on this period of monetization for especially women in 10 years, 20 years time, and realize that it was either a brief flash in the pan or the beginning of a tsunami of people sexualizing themselves for the price of a cheeseburger per month.
I hope it's not anything that has longevity to it, but I could understand how it's appealing for a girl that has just turned 18, okay? Fully not developed in her brain. Thinks, oh my God, I can make 5 figures a month. I have 20, 30K on Instagram. I can make 5 figures a month. I don't have to go to college. I don't have to be in loan for years. I don't have to go find an actual job. I can post bikini pics and make equivalent to a teacher or a doctor. I could understand how that's appealing.
You know what's interesting as well? I think I've heard you talk about this before, that it kind of doesn't really matter what you post on OnlyFans either, because they've tried to do like comedy on there. I think Whitney Cummings did a roast. Bert Kreischer has done some OnlyFans exclusive content. There's a number of girls that I know who justify their MO is, I post this stuff for free on Instagram anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, if I just post a higher frequency of the same level of nudity on OnlyFans, that's basically my morals from Instagram. It's already been there.
Yeah.
There is nothing different. But the problem, it's a branding problem.
I think they say that to help themselves feel like better about it, maybe. Because it's for me, I can only speak from my end, but it's the idea of a paywall platform, getting people's money to show whatever it is that for me just wouldn't click. But I wouldn't, even if I was posting only gym content and leggings and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Just the idea of,
it's an interesting one.
Or chatting with someone, there's been other things.
It's the intimacy as well, I think, that's a part of it.
Yeah.
But so, how vaping is like every person is taking nicotine in some form or another. I was having a conversation the other day about how vaping has probably, or the retreat of cigarettes and the ascendancy of vaping has probably been a net negative for health, because vaping is way more enjoyable than smoking ever was.
Yeah.
It tastes better. It's cooler.
There's no smell. No one could know.
Exactly. All of this. And it doesn't, smoking, that wasn't so good. I think if you start to educate yourself about health and fitness, lots of people are pushing back against vaping too, but I don't think that's really broken into the mainstream just yet. So a lot of people do it. I wonder whether, kind of like how vaping is the thin end of the wedge for nicotine, OnlyFans has become a thin end of the wedge for porn and for self-objectification.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with you that I struggle to see how, I don't know, it's a tight line about the I'm liberating myself and this is empowering, because you are taking men's money. But is the price of your nudity like a double whopper from McDonald's. And
Yeah.
then if it's Black Friday, it's 6 chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's something that I have concerns about, and I haven't really worked out my opinion on yet about like what this means long term.
Yeah.
I think that's really going to be.
I think long term, I just think if you start, again, I'm not, it sounds like I'm just shitting on any woman with an OnlyFans, which I'm not.
Yep.
I'm just saying it from the perspective of a girl who's out there thinking about it. I would recommend to not start one. That's the only thing that's the only way I'm coming at this. I'm not shitting on anyone that has one.
I wonder. Another thing I wonder what it does is I'd seen throughout my 20s girls that were strippers. And they really struggled to see their relationship with men as anything other than transactional, because 150 times a night they needed to extract resources from this guy who was down from Edinburgh or had flown in from Dublin or something for a stag weekend with the boys. Maybe he was married, maybe he was in a relationship, maybe he was whatever. And they saw this relationship with men as adversarial, as transactional, as short-lived. And I saw a struggle in their personal lives to rip themselves out of that. And then if you think, okay, and that's not even protracted or that intimate, if you don't have the Vietnamese manager that's messaging all of the people that you're with, and it's actually you that's doing the simp admin.
Probably fucks with you mentally so much.
How are you able to determine the line between genuine emotional connection and like performative emotional connection? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think not just your relationship with men, but like longevity, especially because it's something like, it's not the same as like maybe a dancer or whatever. This is all online. Like, I feel like it's something you could never live down. And if you're already an influencer, what people are gonna address you as, like, oh, the OnlyFans girl. It's the stigma that comes with it. Title.
What's happening with Fansly? Is Fansly just OnlyFans?
Fansly.
Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Okay, so this is like the Twitch streamer equivalent, I think. I wonder if it can't, there's no way that Twitch would give it partner access or integration or whatever, but Fansly is something else, and I'm seeing a different cohort of people. It's mostly Twitch streamers that are doing that. And I feel like it's the same. It's like private messages and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't know.
Have you seen the new thing, like AI? The AI bots, like you pay per minute to talk to someone and they use your voice from your videos or your online personality to chat with someone.
Yeah. So
that's the same thing. Like,
yeah, I wonder whether if I was the guy that made OnlyFans is British, right? He's from Essex. If I was him, when ChatGPT came out and the AI image creator thing, I would have spent as much money as I could. I would have dumped a shit ton of cash into no longer being an agency and instead becoming a tech product. Because if you could vertically integrate yourself back up and not only be the service that people go through, but be the creators themselves by making the girls and by creating the chatbots and by owning the algorithms and by owning the servers, you cut out, I don't know what the percentage is. Did it take 10% or 5%, whatever? They take
OnlyFans?
Yeah.
They take a lot more than that, I think.
What do they take?
Is it 15 to 20?
Yeah, Joe, come on. How don't you know? You're Joe. You're always on OnlyFans. That's all that you spend your time. You're always talking about.
Take your money out of OnlyFans and put it into like one of the S&P.
You want to put it in the S&P?
I don't know. I'm not very educated with stocks. I wish I was more educated, but whatever. Tesla.
Right.
Put in Tesla.
Cool. Elon Musk, you're getting my money. What's next for you? What are you doing next after uni? Like, what are you thinking? What's in the next 6 months to a year? What can people expect?
6 months to a year, people can expect that maybe I'll post 2 YouTube videos a week instead of 1. No, I'm just going to consistently keep doing the routine and like posting schedule that I have been. And then I've kind of always been the type that, I go with the flow in that aspect and kind of hope that luck plays out and I maybe meet someone that we can be mutually beneficial with. That's most of the reason I even decided to go MBA route, was that maybe one of the companies that I'm working with now or that I encounter in the future, down the line, they'll want me on the back end rather.
Influencer and board member.
Yes, maybe. And I could do the back end and the forefront,
That's cool. No plans to release a training plan, a diet plan, an ebook, a portal platform?
Because I think Like whatever works for me isn't going to work for someone else. I think I am blessed with really good genetics because I don't track macros. I don't, count calories or whatever. I just, it took me a while, but I intuitively eat. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink any of my calories. But
it seems like you're doing pretty well without that at the moment.
Yeah. I don't want to, right now it's something that's fun for me. I think the second I start counting and tracking, it'll become toxic and
You got to be careful. We had this conversation a lot over the last week. If you really, really enjoy doing something, you have to protect your passion. And if you don't, doing the work at the rate that you're doing at the moment is just going to get progressively harder over time. And that's fine, but it will change the pursuit from being something that's, today's rest day and filming day, and I'm fired up to do some skits, to, oh my God, today's rest day, and I still have to work. Yeah. And that framing is an awful lot. And it's like, okay, do you want to turn this into a labor or do you want to keep loving it? And it's not that you can't do both, but the more that you work and the more that you monetize, the more hard it's going to become, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah.
What
Sara
about you?
Saffari.
Wait, what's next for you?
So I've done...
Who are you trying to have on this podcast? A few that you have your eye on.
A few that I've got my eye on. So have you seen the School of Life YouTube channel? So it's a big YouTube channel that did psychology and philosophy. It's got about 5-6 mil subs. It's really big.
Yeah.
It's great. And it's run by this dude called Alain de Botton. It's not run by him. He's like the creator of it. Now he's got this huge team. And he was real formative for me. So if I had a Mount Rushmore of podcast influences on my awakening, Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, Joe Rogan, and Alain. Jordan has been on twice and is coming back on. Sam has been on a couple of weeks ago. I've been on Rogan's, but I've got this elusive fourth guy down here. And I really, really want to bring him on. And he's got a new book coming out. So I'm working super, super hard to try and get him. He's in the UK, but that's fine because I can fly back to the UK. So I got that. We've got a week in the UK with some massive, massive UK guests that I can't wait to film with. Then I'm coming back. I've already said to people that Jordan Peterson will be coming back on at some point this year. So that's going to be very interesting. Got lots to talk about. Couple of returning guests, a couple of new ones. But this weekend's been great. I did this Alex Hormozy yesterday, Phil Heath, and Rich Roll. This morning, Stan Efferding. You today. Tomorrow, Eric Weinstein, who is like this super genius MD at Teal Capital, very interesting dude. So it's good. Like things are happening, and it really does feel like we've got the world at our feet at the moment, and kind of holding on for dear life a little bit.
No, that's amazing. You're gonna kill it. Thank you for having me on. I'm honored. After all those people you named, I'm honored that you had...
Sara Saffari.
No, I'm honored that you had me on. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Where should people go? They want to follow you, check out your stuff.
Instagram, Sara Saffari.
What are you on Snapchat? Same?
Sara Saffari. Yeah, Sara Saffari on anything.
Hell yeah. Sara, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that episode with Sara, then press here for a full-length 2-hour podcast with Mr. Olympia Classic Physique, Chris Bumstead.